Hey everybody, this is Beth Durinsky from Odyssey Insurance and Investments, and you're listening to the podcast, Real Insurance Made Simple. As a working mom of young kids and a small business owner, I know firsthand life happens. So come along with me and learn how your insurance policies work when real life happens and you need them most. All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of Real Insurance Made Simple. We are in our mini series on business insurance or just supporting our businesses. And this week we are excited because we are not talking insurance at all. We are out here trying to help businesses get a resource for marketing because we all have to go through it. I have Alan here with me. He has helped lots of us locally on the marketing aspect, and I'm going to let him start and run with it on who he is and his background.
Sure. So my name is Alan Stenger. I live in Brookville, Indiana, have businesses in Metamore, Indiana. My background is I've been in construction all my life. I'm director of construction for a major construction company, but I'm very entrepreneurial. So I have many business arms as well outside of construction. I own Stenger Sugar Shack, which started as a little syrup operation that's expanded. I own the Sap Bucket in Metamore, Indiana, which is a retail gift shop, a snack bar type thing. I own a marketing company. I also own a real estate investment company. And I think I'll stop there because there's more, but that's all we need to know.
Yeah, you have your fingers in a little bit of everything, but
Yes.
you have been successful at promoting majority of these businesses and even helping other businesses locally do so. So how did you get started in the marketing aspect? Let's start there.
Yeah. So I'm also a musician, and that's where it all started. Years ago, when bands were putting flyers up on the electric pole to say where they were playing, I'm like, there's other ways besides that. And that was the kind of the advent of social media a little bit, but more so just other opportunities out there, not just social media, but internet marketing and things like that. Fast forward to Stenger Sugar Shack. We started that company. We were doing maple syrup. That's all we were doing. And I wanted to promote that. But we were fresh and new, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So I realized that I could promote it on, of all things, social media. So there's an event every year that was Indiana Maple Syrup Association puts on. It's a maple syrup weekend in March, second weekend of March. So I marketed all that on Facebook, of all things, at the time. We ended up our very first year having more people than any other maple syrup farm in the state of Indiana. And we're small. There's farms with, a lot more maple syrup trees that they're tapping than I've got. And then it just kind of exploded from there. Besides maple syrup, I ended up doing beef jerky as well. So between the beef jerky and the maple syrup, I really used the internet and the social media for all my marketing for that. I didn't do print marketing until several years ago. We were very successful, and then I expanded to the print market as well. So it all started with social media for Stenger Sugar Shack.
So it sounds like you tried stuff that was different than what everybody else was doing, and you, by trial and error, you were figuring out what was working. And you have like the numbers to essentially provide proof of that.
Yeah. So it's very simple. Go to any restaurant and look around. What you're going to see is people on their smartphones. People on dates are on their phones. They're on social media. So I think you have to progress with your thoughts on advertising and marketing and go to where the folks are looking. They're looking on social media for everything. Or on the internet. So that's kind of what my focus has been. I've promoted that to other businesses to try to help other businesses out through the Chamber of Commerce and through different marketing sessions we put on just to help folks see what else is out there. And putting an ad in a newspaper is not the most effective way. It's another way you can market, but it's right now in this day and age, not the most effective way.
Yeah. So what you mentioned print and newspaper. What are all the different marketing avenues? Let's dial it back and talk
Yeah,
about the different
yeah.
types, and
So
then we can fit
obviously
in.
you have newspaper, you have social media post, internet post, Google advertising as well, um, podcast advertising. I advertise on several podcasts as well. Um, you know, those are the ones that I concentrate on. I mean,
Mm.
we also do some billboard advertising for the town of Metamora. We have a billboard. Um, so it just kind of depends on what your budget is and who your target audience is, your target customers.
Okay, so change gears a little bit. You mentioned budget. What would you believe is the most cost effective if someone, they're just starting out, don't really have a budget for marketing? What do you think is their first step?
Social media. I mean, you can, for free, you can advertise on social media.
Yeah.
But there are steps you need to follow. You need to set up a business page on social media. And I also say set up a Google business page as well, because when
Hmm.
people ask their phone, "Hey, where should I eat?" Um, you'll get hits off your social media page and off the Google page as well.
Hmm.
Um, but social media is free
Yeah.
now to start with. Now, if you want to really dig into advertising, and I can talk about that a little bit more, if you do paid advertising on social media, you're going to reach uh, hundreds of thousands of people, and you can target who you're reaching
Hmm.
by demographic, by location. And that is really for the town of Metamora, the stuff I do there, that's really made a big difference.
Do you feel that you get a lot of like bang for your buck when you put money into the social media advertising?
Absolutely. So um, when we first started doing the Metamora social media advertising, there was a lot of naysayers.
Hmm.
Um, So I target different areas to advertise to. One of the areas, the first week I ever did it, I targeted Terre Haute, Indiana. I had 3 people in my shop and some in other shops that were from Terre Haute that saw it marketed on social media. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can't deny, that success.
Hmm.
Um, and our normal monthly um, advertising, we only spend $100 a month for Metamora, and we get over 100,000 people that respond to it and either, say, "Hey, this is great," say they're coming to the event. But the biggest thing is to share it with other people. And
Hmm.
that share doesn't cost you a penny. So it usually ends up, we do a $100 a month for the little town of Metamora and all the shops. Um, it ends up costing us about 2 cents per ad that's viewed and commented or viewed and left an emoji or whatever. There's no other advertising venue out there that costs you 2 cents for every person that looks at it.
That's phenomenal. Definitely bang for your buck. And just to clarify, uh, Facebook, correct, is what you're
Facebook,
utilizing?
Facebook and Instagram. I'm not a TikTok guy. I'm a little older. So TikToks, to me, Facebook and Instagram are more marketing. TikTok is more a fun
Yeah.
app, I guess.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say because I'm not on it, but uh, Facebook is really set up for marketing. If you see how that's set up for businesses versus Instagram's all about pictures.
Hmm.
Pictures are great, but Facebook, you can get to the nuts and bolts of what a business is, what they do. You can set up events. Uh, I will say setting up an event is uh, one of the ways that you really drive people to your site. Because
Hmm.
once they see the event, then they'll click and go to your site and see what's going on.
So there's like 3 questions that popped in my head, and I'm going to try not to forget them. The first one being, when you're target marketing to get that many people, what kind of expanse? I know obviously this is going to be different for different businesses. Like, I don't want to target um, super far away because it's harder to do insurance when I can't be in front of the person, go to the home. So my target market would look different. But what size are you marketing to get those sort of results?
So I market in 3 states. I market in Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky.
Hmm.
And they'll give you can just put in your address and do a big radius and pick all the area up. But that's not the best way to do it, because if you do that, the majority of the hits are going to come to your local area. So I do what we call pinpoint marketing. I'll take 50 different towns or cities within the tri-state area, pinpoint those as an area, and do a 10-mile radius around those areas. When I'm done, or 20-mile radius, when I'm done, all those kind of connect, but they have their own little zip code that they're going to. So all those areas get hit, not so much our local area, because I don't need to market as much to the local area as I do for, I'm going to say for Metamore, as I do the outside areas. That's how we get such a vast array of folks from different areas. Now, when I'm advertising my own shop, that's a little different. I'll pick Metamore, then I'll do a 10-mile radius, pick Brookville, pick Oldenburg, pick Oxford, Ohio, Harrison, Ohio, and do 10-mile radiuses around those areas to draw people in.
So just to recap, to clarify for listeners, on Facebook, you walk through, it's pretty easy if someone's going through the Facebook prompts to boost an ad or pay for an ad, but it gives you the ability to create that little bubble around where you want to go. So you're saying instead of create one big bubble that expands, because the algorithm will focus on the center of your dot, you create a bunch of little bubbles and do different mile radius that eventually overlap. And that's been more cost effective for you.
Yeah. The other thing you do is you can pick out, for Metamore, I put in people that do day trips, people who are into history. You can pick all those different things out. So you're marketing to the people directly that's what they want to do. That's the kind of things that they're looking for. In lieu of just blasting it out there to everybody, I try to, since we have a small budget, I try to blast it to the folks that's the kind of things they're interested in. And Facebook knows who those people are based on what they click on all the time. So,
Yep. So you're focusing on your target market, not just someone who's going to scroll by who's not interested in leaving their home.
Correct.
So the two other questions that came to mind is, you said that getting people to share is really what draws it in. Are you doing that through events specifically on your page, or what ways are you getting people?
A lot of people will comment and share on our events on the page, which that's free advertising 100%. Now, people will say, well, I've shared it. So everybody and all my friends have seen it. That's not true. Between 2 to 3% of your audience, of your followers, will see a post. Just because you have 1,000 followers doesn't mean you got 1,000 people looking at it. Or in our case, in Metamore, we got 20,000 followers. Doing a post there doesn't mean all 20,000 see it. It's between 2 and 3% of that 20,000. So that's something that most people don't realize.
That's pretty low statistic as far as which is why, again, we go back to the boosting and the paying for it, the bang for your buck, because that helps get it out there. So while it is free and it is the most budget friendly, you have to be able to navigate it for it to be successful.
That is correct. Yep.
So, okay, I love that. Now, the other question that came to mind is, you said you really don't use Instagram, but you do. How are you utilizing Instagram to advertise?
So Instagram, let's say it's the Meta universe. So Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same group. It's Meta. So when I'm doing a post on Facebook or an event on Facebook, it gets shared on Instagram as well. That's one of the options. As you're clicking down through there, you can click share on Instagram. So I don't sorry, I got too many meetings going on. I don't specifically market on Instagram, but it gets tagged as part of the Meta post. So
gotcha.
The other thing, folks can get certified through Meta. I'm a certified Meta advertiser, and you learn all those tricks.
Okay.
Doesn't just cost you some time. It's pretty detailed courses. You can get through Meta, but it's well worth it.
Okay, so if someone wants to be certified through Meta, is that something they have to pay for? Where do they find that at?
It's on Meta itself. So if you type in Meta certified advertiser on your browser, it'll get you the information.
Okay, cool. Did it cost you any money? You don't have to say the price if it did.
Did not.
It did not. Good to
Well,
know.
I'll say that the first course did not. Now I went to some advanced courses that cost a little bit, but and it's very, very little for information you get.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Another good resource for people to try to do when they're marketing. Um, we kind of hit on this a little bit, on does one method work better than the other? So since we kind of hit on that, would you say there is value in doing a little bit of everything if your budget allows? And why?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is no, well, I'm about to say something that's not really true, but there is no bad advertising
Mhm.
unless it's, you know, not correct advertising.
Correct.
Any way you can get your business out there for people to see, it's a plus. You just have to decide with what your budget is, what you think is the best way, and then sometimes it's based on what your business is. Your business may not be something that's really suitable or works with social media advertising, and you have to look at other avenues. Um, so it's contingent on what your business is, what you're doing, all that good
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
Do you think that marketing your business is something that businesses need to outsource or would be better outsourcing? Or do you think by trial and error, a business could be successful at that?
It
Or
depends
thoughts?
on the business owner and who's doing it.
Fair
It
enough.
takes a lot of time to do it correctly. Um, and it depends on your budget. If you have the budget to outsource, if you outsource to somebody that's a professional that's been doing it for a while, that understands the ins and outs, it's well worth it. If you don't have that budget and you've got some time to learn a little bit, um, you know, that's the way to go. Just all depends on your budget.
Mhm. And probably industry specific. So, like, I know that, like, I kind of do my marketing for the most part, but I also have a platform that is specific to insurance that allows me to it helps generate posts and stuff for me. So while
Right.
I'm doing it and I choose what I'm boosting and what I'm putting out there, someone's helping me create that because I'm not
Right.
creative. I'm a square when it comes to being creative.
Yeah.
Um,
So your graphics on your, social media posts are a lot of what drives what people look at. There's a program called Canva out there
mhm.
that automatically formats your graphics to fit either a Facebook post, Facebook event, um, your Facebook page profile. I highly recommend there's a free version of that you can use. It
Very
doesn't have all
nice.
the bells and whistles, but it'll get your graphics formatted um, correctly. So
Mhm.
they're not cut off when you look at them. You'll see some post and you can only see part of it until you click on it. With Canva, the post to be correct, you can look at it without having to expand it.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice. And you can kind of create your own on Canva.
Absolutely.
Very nice. So changing gears a little bit from marketing types, um, what do you believe is the importance of a marketing plan and or a budget?
Both of them are very important. Uh, if you're going to start a new business, you need to budget some money for marketing.
Hmm.
Maybe the money is just your time that you're going to invest in it, but you need to have, if people don't know about your business and what you have to offer, you'll sit in your office all day long wondering, well, how come people aren't coming in or
Hmm.
buying your stuff. Um, to me, having a marketing plan of how for the next year plan, and it's something that you can do yearly, plan how you're going to attack the whole marketing
Hmm.
strategy, um, dollars and cents, time, platforms, and just have a plan out there you can work off of.
Sure. So talking to someone, they haven't even started their own business, haven't done it. They just said, I have this idea. What would you say to them on the basic general how to of a marketing plan? Like someone has no idea. Like
Well,
what's the first step?
yeah. So the first step really is going to be um, figure out what you're going. You've got an idea, uh, and figure out what demographic or who this idea is going to go out to. So you
Hmm.
can figure out who you need to advertise to.
Hmm.
If it's going to be, teenagers or it's going to be adults or what industry. Um, that's your first, your first step. You need to identify who you're marketing to,
Hmm.
and then do a little research. I mean, you can go online and do all the research in the world, find out from other businesses, excuse me, the best marketing
Hmm.
strategy to do that. Um, and there are also, you know, opportunities with Chamber of Commerce's, our particular Chamber of Commerce, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do marketing classes. We do both social media and Google. We do a business plan class. There's opportunities out there that don't cost you anything that you can hear from people that are already in the industries
Mm-hmm.
and already doing marketing that are there to help you and guide you. Kind of a, it's an opportunity to learn before you're actually 10 feet deep in the project.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to recap, find out who you want to market to, do some research on maybe how the best way to reach them is, and then determine your cost. Um, Listeners have kind of heard Alan reference the chamber. Him and I are both Franklin County Community Chamber board members. And I think the big part is time and effort. If a business owner is willing to put in the time and effort to learn and take it in, like you said, we have free classes, I think they can reap a lot of the benefits from that. So I think those are really good highlights on all of that. Anything else to really add on that front?
I don't think so. And it's just the Chamber of Commerce is in all communities are there to help businesses, period.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what their intent is. And for the little bit of money that it costs to be a member, it's the return is tenfold.
Absolutely. One-off question here for you. What would you believe is the most creative way you've attempted to market something, and has it been successful?
Well, podcast marketing, probably. I have a podcast, and all of a sudden, I had advertisers wanting to advertise on it, which we did, and we did our own advertisements for local businesses. But then I decided to let me advertise my business on other podcasts, and it's amazing. A lot of people don't think about that, but there are a lot of podcast listeners out there, and for a relatively small amount of money, you can advertise on podcasts. And once again, you pick and choose. You don't want to advertise your business on a podcast that's in California.
Right.
You pick and choose who you're going to advertise to. So that was something that I've gotten business from it, and it's something neat as well. So
Yeah, and I also feel like people don't always think about it because it hits a unique niche of people.
exactly.
I know that I decided to do the podcast because I'm a podcast junkie. I listen. I went from being a music junkie and always having music in my ears to always wanting to learn and take information in. And whether it be informative or enjoyment, entertainment, like a crime one, I'm all the time listening to podcasts. And I think certain markets of people do that. So I
Right.
think that's a good point.
Yep.
Let's see. If you we'll wrap up here, what is one thing you would want to leave listeners with? It doesn't have to be marketing. It can be marketing. If you could leave them with one thing, business owners specifically, what would that be?
Yeah. So make sure you create a Google profile and also create a Facebook business page, not a personal page. Create one for your business. Because like I said earlier, go to any social event, look at what people are doing, and 90% of them are on their phone looking at scrolling. And for your business to pop up while they're doing that is an easy way to market your business.
I agree. One thing that just came to mind, my husband had a business account, and this is just some nuggets of information for some listeners. And it was tied to his personal, because it has to be tied to a personal.
Right.
His Facebook account got spammed by a hacker, and they shut his Facebook down, and he could not get it back. He was the only admin on that business page. So one piece of advice, add a second admin, whether they use it or not, in case you get locked out.
And make sure you have two-factor authentication. That way, somebody could try to hack, but if you have the two-factor set up, because it happens to everybody, they try to hack everybody. And then I'm going to say, if you have a Facebook page and you get an instant message from somebody says they're from Facebook and they're getting ready to shut your account down, delete that. Facebook will never contact you that way. Never.
No.
That's how a lot of people have lost their pages.
Yes.
Because they'll click the link, they'll give them their login information, and then you've just lost your page.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very valid point. I'm glad that got brought up. Okay. Anything else that we missed that you think may be important that we didn't touch on?
I don't think so. I mean, I just, there's opportunity out there for everybody to market your business at a low cost, quite honestly. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands on marketing. So,
Yeah. And the final plug that I'll say is we hit really on social media today. People don't see the benefit of Google. And I know that the chamber puts on that Google class because they have so many different things that go into their algorithm. Everybody wants to be the top of a Google search. I highly encourage listeners, whether it be through our chamber or whatever, to take a Google class.
yeah.
Because I
So,
think that makes a big difference.
my shop in Metamore, we get hits from Google, 400 or 500 hits a month.
Mhm.
And for restaurants of all things, because we're a little snack shop. And when people hit that, they can tap on it and it'll go right to maps and pull up the Google map to drive them right to the restaurant. So
Mhm.
that's some of the things that are, just an asset while having a Google page.
Yep, and understanding it. I agree. All right. Well, Alan, I really appreciate your time today. And yeah, I think the knowledge that you are leaving with business owners is super important, super helpful. And I don't think a lot of people realize the asset of social media and marketing. So thank you for your
Agreed.
time.
Thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you all for listening today. We hope you found this episode helpful and informative as you navigate the world of insurance. As a reminder, this podcast is never for legal or professional advice, and you should always consult your local and licensed insurance professional. We wish you a week filled with love and blessings from the team at Odyssey Insurance and Investments.